time? 30? 30 seconds? I'm on right now. I don't believe you.
Run.
What?
What are you saying, people? We're live. Welcome to the stream. This is the Brews at 10 on my left eye, and I'm your host, Lefty. A very warm welcome indeed, everybody. A fairly rare Friday stream for reasons I'll go into in a couple of moments. For now, though, please make sure you've hit thumbs up as you join us on stream. Hit as many supportive buttons as you can. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and then you can join others in the chats. And the chat's already well underway. We've got Davinia there, Doc Davies in the house, Floor Snake, Black Barts, great to see you. The London Cheesehead, how do you brew? Quality viewers, quality streaming, it's all quality on the Brews at 10. Feel free to liberally use your own tea-based puns or ocular-based puns. And Big Jerry's just jumping in the chat as well. Great to see you. Yeah, a bit of a warm-up as usual here first, and then we'll get into things. Got some updates on things we spoke about on recent live streams. Got some breaking news as well. UK news, international news. My left eye sees all. And not only is this the final Brews at 10 of the week, it'll actually be the final stream of the week. Alas, have to formally announce there won't be a live stream on Sunday. No Sunday live stream this week, unfortunately. A very busy weekend, including some Take Back Power stuff. But there's a massive fundraiser going on here in Manchester on Sunday night, so I'll be at that instead. So that's another reason why we have to keep up to date with everything that's been going on this week tonight. But yeah, it's all good. Big action phase coming next month as well with Take Back Power. We're going to have exclusive stuff to share with you, as well as the Defend Our Juries protest taking place on the 11th of April in Trafalgar Square. Because alas, the Met Police have now announced that they're going to start to arrest people for holding up placards again, even though a court ruled that that was unlawful, and the Met said they'd refrain from doing so. Yeah, so lots of protest stuff happening all over the place next month, to be honest, and as always, we'll do our best to keep you up to speed with everything. This channel being founded, run and hosted by environmental and political activists, so this is the place to be. Okay, time to give a shout out to all the members on the channel. Well, just resize that. Sorry, it's cutting off some of the names. There we go. Some particularly long names becoming members, in fact, recently. Just carry on there. Don't worry, that wasn't a freeze. To quote Gimli, son of Gloin, that was deliberate, that was deliberate. And we're back over 200 members. Again, thank you very much for everybody who's gifted memberships, renewed your own. A great way to end the stream as well. On Wednesday, after PMQ's, Keith's catchphrases. Yeah, we were sitting on 199 quite tentatively for a while. And then 2 gifted memberships took us back over the line and into 201. So just 49 to go on the way to 250. Speaking of which, we're not very far off 6,000 subscribers now as well. I think about 180-ish. So it's been great to see that support as well. Thank you very much. Whatever way you like to support the channel, but where this stream's concerned, you might want to consider using super chats, super stickers. If you're watching back later, you might want to use super thanks. We'd really appreciate that. And if you don't have the means to help us out via YouTube, there's a Buy Me a Coffee page in the description of any channel of any content on the channel. Who wrote this? I read it exactly as it says on the paper. Who wrote this? No, seriously, thanks for all your support. And thanks for those of you who've hyped recent content. If you're watching on mobile or tablet, open up a video, hit thumbs up. It might give you the option to use hype points. This isn't a universal feature, it's quite new. But do open some content and see if it works. And thank you very much for those of you who've hyped. We've done all the plugs. Or you can give us a follow on social media as well. That also is a big help. At My Left Eye UK is the handle that you're looking for there. We're on Blue Sky, Twitter and Mastodon. I just had a really good week on Twitter where the channel's concerned. Yeah, we just called out the BBC for its all of a sudden reporting of an arson attack, and everybody needs to know about this, and it's horrific to absolute crickets when it comes to people getting arrested and released on bail. They were the most dangerous people in the world a couple of days ago, and they've been released on bail. So we pointed that out and tagged BBC News and or BBC World News, I think. Yeah, it's had quite a lot of retweets and likes, so thank you very much everybody who's retweeted that one. I think we've had over 500 so far and about 2,500 likes on that post. Going out to the party, people. Nice to see you. Right, that's the stall and self-promotion and thanks done. And we'll get into clips and things after a bit of comedy, just to start us off on the right foot in a light-hearted fashion. Got a mix of positive and negative stories, I guess, throughout the stream. It's not all doom scrolling.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
I've actually got a debutante on the comedy clips as well. A first timer on the Brews, or any live stream that is on my left eye. Yeah, the debutante will be later on. For now, though, someone, or some people, I should say, a couple of guys who regular viewers of the channel and others will be more than familiar with already, I'm sure. It's Larry and Paul, and the latest one from Broken News and their report on Iran. Just reminding myself, alas, I've not put the link in the description of this stream, but will do immediately afterwards, so long as I remember. In fact, I'll to highlight that. The circle around it as well. Okay. Most of you know Larry and Paul anyway, but go and subscribe. If not, there will be a link in the description after the end of the stream.
Welcome to Broken News. Well, every year we celebrate victory in Europe. Now we're celebrating victory against jihadism. Never mind VE Day, America and its allies are celebrating Vag Day after a definite total.
And one of the... Sorry to interrupt. One of the best things about these sketches is the names. The names change every single episode. What was that one there?
Europe. Now
Danny Han. What? Oh, it's Danny Hangel. Danny Hangel.
Europe. Now we're celebrating victory against jihadism. Never mind VE Day, America and its allies are celebrating Vag Day after a definite, total, complete and legitimate triumph in the Middle East. President Trump has declared victory over Iran in a war that he insisted wasn't a war but is repeatedly described as a war. Our reporter has War on the Moor. More on the war.
Thank you, Danny. Yes, as you saw, many warned that they saw this war as a warm-up for ever more forever wars. But it's clear President Trump has put all his significant brainpower into a staggering strategic victory in the Middle East. Now, the USA has said it will stop even starting to think about preparing to draft a plan to...
Sorry, what's his name again? Just going back. Sorry.
more on the war.
It is really good.
Thank you, Danny. Yes, as you saw, many warned that they saw the
Fecal bulk with the old, yeah, that's been out of commission only for about, half a millennia or so. The A and the E attached, the, ethyl red, the unready, so on and so forth. And ye olde English fecal bulk. Fucking hell.
this war as a warm-up for ever more forever wars. But it's clear President Trump has put all his significant brainpower into a staggering strategic victory in the Middle East.
Yeah, that's not
Now
Iran.
the USA has said it will stop even starting to think about preparing to draft a plan to consider bombing energy sites in Iran. It's after President Trump said he's winning at talks, despite the other side not being in those talks or even knowing those talks were happening. The president says that actually makes it easier to win at talks if the other side doesn't know that they're talking. But rest assured, this is a stunning victory for the USA. Some would say a famous victory. Like that time Joe Frazier beat Muhammad Ali in the Rumble in the Jungle by strategically lying down unconscious in the ring and going blind.
Well, hang on. Joe Frazier? Don't think so. Rumble it? No.
Beat Muhammad Ali in the Rumble in the Jungle by strategic.
Yeah, the Rumble in the Jungle was George Foreman versus Ali, which Ali won. Ali and Frazier fought 3 times. Ali won twice, the third of which was the Thriller in Manila, the very famous one. The first one, which was the one that Joe Frazier won, was known as the Fight of the Century. But the Rumble in the Jungle was George Foreman and Muhammad Ali. I'm not sure if that's a deliberate cock-up there, but just to make a technical point.
It is a stunning victory for the USA. Some would say a famous victory. Like that time Joe Frazier beat Muhammad Ali in the Rumble in the Jungle by strategically lying down unconscious in the ring and going blind. Or when the Lehman brothers handed everyone's...
Look, to be honest, Smoking Joe Frazier, he didn't even tell his own trainer or manager, but he was mostly blind in one eye throughout most of his whole career, actually, and still became world boxing champion. How's about that?
Financial security and peace of mind, a big win in 2008 by strategically going bust. Or when the Nazis won World War II by strategically dismantling its army before Hitler outfoxed everyone by strategically shooting his girlfriend, his dog, and then himself.
A great victory indeed. Meanwhile, Fecal, in relation to potential future conflicts, we understand there's a request from the US administration for Sir Keir Starmer to sit in the corner like a good little fuckboy while Donald gives Mrs. Starmer a jolly good seeing to. What can you tell us about that?
That's right, Danny. While all eyes in the international community are on the Strait of Hormuz.
I think it's the Strait of
Hang on, is it the Strait of Hormuz? Is it like vermouth? The shipping lanes around Iran. Yeah. Well, while all eyes are on those, we understand that request is currently being considered by Number 10. Indeed, British newspapers are already saying that if the Prime Minister doesn't plop himself on the old cup chair and watch while the orange jabber heaves his throbbing acorn into Mrs. Starmer, that means Sir Keir is weak and hates Britain. Back to you.
Thank you. Well, in response, Reform leader Nigel Farage has released a statement. It says, "America is our great ally. If I were Prime Minister, not only would I be fine with looking on while Mrs. Farage is thundered into by such a tangerine titan, but I'm also happy to position myself between Mrs. Farage and Mr. Trump while he takes me and her down to Pound Town, USA, should he so wish. Also, any chance I could suck off a dog." Disgusting. What a lovely story. That's all from Broken News.
Oh, God.
You're up to date.
Oh, that's really good. Larry and Paul, very good, but what else do you expect from quality YouTubers there? Go and give them a follow. I'll subscribe, yeah. Got a bit graphic there, though, towards the end. Some of that, though, is actually, would you be surprised if it was true? Once again, Larry and Paul there. Are you like a bit of a boxing, do you, Doc? My favourite fight is the fight for the proletariat, of course. Oh, that'd be a close call in boxing. Obviously, the ones I mentioned, obviously, classics, old classics. We like to watch some of the old classics, even old black and white stuff. You know, sometimes it's hard to tell. You know, both competitors choosing to wear white shorts with black trim, almost identical, doesn't help. With similar builds, similar stature, hairstyles, etc. But what about yours? Or even in the modern era? Or more in the... Just very quickly, we will move on to politics away from... Well, boxing came up in the comedy clip. But yeah, did enjoy the Tyson Wilder trilogy. It was a very good recent one as well. I do like sort of... you know, classic trilogies, because there tends to be a bit of sort of, you know, drama and such in the background. Anyway, enough of this gay banter. Let's get into business. Oh, you actually watched it, Doc? That's cool. Well, you went all the way to, well, it was Zaire. Back then, of course, wasn't it? They had to have it there. Well, they couldn't have it in the United States. Anyway, we're lost on a tangent again. Let's focus, let's put the world to rights, people. But do keep your comments coming in to the chat. First up, yeah, a update. I'm sure a lot of you will have heard about. This was, I believe, initially revealed by the excellent Declassified. Anybody who doesn't know Declassified UK, get over there, subscribe immediately. If you're into your alternate media, they certainly are, I should say, a very hard-working team of independent journalists. Truly independent journalists, you know. Not Rent-A-Journal, not the client press that we're used to here in the UK. So you remember on the last stream we brought you some, or was it another stream this week, footage of Al Jazeera arriving at the scene of the ambulance arson attack, and then essentially being surrounded and attacked themselves verbally, with insults being thrown at them as well. By a large group who apparently, you know, there were a team of around 3 or 4 people in this Al Jazeera film crew. You know, if you work it out, you'll have the camera person, sound, you'll have other technical assistants there, and a live reporter. Not a massive team, surrounded by some 20, 30 racists who got right in the face and called them names like dog and donkey in Arabic. Which was truly appalling. That's not the sort of behaviour that we want to see in Britain. That is certainly not the sort of community spirit that we want to see surrounding, you know, a widespread incident. But also where a free press is concerned. Yeah, they might not agree with the network. Look, I don't agree with GB News, okay? I don't agree with Sky News. I'm sure a lot of you also know that I don't regularly criticise state media, BBC, of course, on the channel as well. But when I'm out doing actions or filming actions, wherever it might be, and other members of the press are there, I don't get in their faces, you know. Maybe the odd sort of slight under the breath thought to myself or whatever, but these people got right in the faces of Al Jazeera, called them dogs and donkeys, and it's absolutely, you know, repugnant. I don't agree with GB News, a whole lot of other broadcasters, to be honest, but I certainly wouldn't even consider behaving the way that these people did. And this is what Declassified have revealed about the entire situation. You might remember one individual quite prominently swearing in Arabic at the Al Jazeera News team and throwing the insults. And just look what has been dug up about him. Get your get your smelling salts ready. Make sure that you're sitting down, because this is going to be incredibly shocking. The person in question, let's see now. Got some more information here. Oh, wait. What's the music on? David Soffer is the person's name, and this is what they found out about him.
We've identified the man filmed intimidating Al Jazeera journalists in London, and it turns out he's a serving British police officer.
Dun, dun, dun. He's a fucking cop. That's the guy, David Soffer. That's your man. Have you seen this man? Have you seen this racist, Zionist piece of shit? He's a cop. He's fucking Babylon. Which is not entirely shocking, is it? There is more to this, though.
The man in the grey hoodie is David Soffer, a special constable with the Metropolitan Police. Soffer, who was filmed insulting a Palestinian cameraman at the site of the Golders Green ambulance attack, has publicly backed Israel's assault on Gaza and has agreed with posts by Tommy Robinson. Following our revelations, he has now removed his police employment from his LinkedIn profile, and we understand that he could face disciplinary action from the Met Police.
And he's also removed his Twitter, whatever you call it. Removed himself from social media. That's the guy. And we certainly hope that there's going to be consequences because of this. I hope that the Met are watching. Well, I believe I just said that. If you are, I'll be seeing you soon, no doubt. That's not a confession, maybe. I don't know. Slight prediction. I'm rambling. Anyway, this didn't particularly come as a shock to me when I found out. But you do have to commend the excellent work once again of Declassified UK. They really do put in a great amount of effort into the research. Top quality stuff. What do you think about that, people? Wouldn't you Adam and Eve it, eh? David Soffer, that's the name.
He's an asshole, sir.
Right, we'll carry on with some more UK news and updates now. to go to first. Yeah, we'll take a look at this one. It was a hot seat on the channel, of course, Gorton and Denton. But you'll remember in the aftermath of Hannah Spencer's stunning victory for the Green Party, it was all, reform in full-on sore loser mode. Literally immediately. Because as the polls closed, there were accusations of rigged voting, so-called family voting. They were making a lot of noise about this in 15 of the 22 voting constituencies and insisted that foul play was at work. Of course, they were mostly accusing members of the Muslim community of persuading family members to vote one way or another. Spouses, children, this sort of thing. And there has been an investigation. As crybaby Farage insisted on. And again, guess what? Well, I'll just get the Ask Club now. And you might not be surprised to find out that there was no evidence of family voting in the by-election. Not just a bit of evidence, not an overwhelming amount of evidence. Zero, nothing, no evidence. They made it all up. It was Reform trying to get their excuses in early, and a lot of the other post-by-election stats that have come out as well have also reinforced this, because as opposed to simply winning it, that is the by-election, by garnering votes from members of the Muslim community, the biggest shift came from white working class members of Gorton and Denton. So that's a double disaster for Nigel Farage's claims, Matt Goodwin's claims, of course the unsuccessful Reform candidates, who really isn't handling it well at all. If you've seen what people have been pointing out about his posts on social media lately, he's, full on in denial, having a complete breakdown over it. So that's pretty much it, yeah. GMP said there's no evidence to suggest any intent to influence or refrain a person from voting as stated in the Ballot Secrecy Act of 2023. But Farage called it establishment whitewash. Well, I've got news for you, Nigel, but the Green Party aren't exactly the establishment, are they? Well, not yet. But at the moment in time, no, that is still neoliberals, neoconservatives, neocons, neocon artists, snake oil salesmen, straight up grifters. Nigel Farage wants to be one of those. Establishment whitewash, yeah. I'm sure that King Charles and Keir Starmer would be, going well out of the way to help out Hannah Spencer, Zach Polanski and the Green Party. We're going to be seeing more from Zach and the Greens later on. And just like the loss itself, the inability to win the seat, with this revelation, Farage, it seems, is going into a complete meltdown as well. Maybe him and Goodwin can just get together this weekend and have a meltdown party, They're going to need a lot of tissues for that one. One thing that's come... So, it turns out as well that none of these so-called democracy observers, there was this organisation, Democracy Volunteers, it's these guys, 4 of them decided not to turn around and say, oh, we think that something suspicious is going on, something might be out of order here, until after the polls closed, not at the moment that they witnessed it. So, if you can put yourselves in their shoes, and remember you're really big on democracy, I'm sure these people are. And you see 2 people go into a voting booth. You happen to overhear the conversation, someone saying to the other one, you vote for this one or whatever, or one person like saying, which one do I vote for, or something like that. Do you then stand there until 10 PM? And remember, the polls open in the morning. They've got to give people an opportunity to vote on a Thursday. Most working people will work on a Thursday. You work full time. And hours pass, and then when they close, you turn, oh, there might have been something suspicious. But no, like I said, really, it was just getting their excuses in early. And it says here, out of the 45 polling stations, 41 said they didn't have CCTV activated in the building, as it would have compromised the secrecy of the votes during polling day, in line with official advice. Of the CCTV reviewed, police said there was no evidence of anyone directing or coercing another regarding how to vote. Instances. So the allegations were, this includes instances of more than one voter going into a booth at the same time, and instances of people looking over the shoulder of voters. Now, I'm pretty sure that most or all people watching this stream or in chats may have voted before in some way or another, be it general election, local election, referendum, whatever it might have been. And one prominent feature you often find is curtains. Not every polling station has booths like with curtains, but many of them are. So they certainly can't see people looking over the shoulders of voters in that instance, can they? The claims just get weaker and weaker. Zach Polanski has reacted by saying, the morning after Hannah won, I was asked time and time again about this. There was no evidence for it. Instead, the establishment media fueled the fire. It was Islamophobic. Yeah, so this establishment accusation that Farage made is, of course, the mirror of the truth, which is all we've come to expect from that Toad-featured fella. And there you go. Zero evidence. That puts that one to bed. Sorry, Gammons. I'm not calling you dear viewers, Gammons. So. Well, you never know, there might be the odd troll. It wouldn't be unheard of on the channel. Speaking of reform candidates, another story about one came up today. This is a council. Oh no, sorry, it's a Senate candidate. Apologies. Has quit. Why have they quit? Reform. Not been forced to resign from reform. Let's see what's happening. Well, it's more than evident from the picture, and I don't know what's wrong with the BBC, but appears to do a Nazi salute. Appears to. It's even doing the fucking moustache finger thing. I mean, Elon Musk's was clear enough, and he didn't even do the moustache finger thing. Jeez, appears to. Yes, this is Corey Edwards. Apparently a leading Reform candidate. A former Conservative special advisor, and he was only announced as his party's lead candidate in the constituency of Penny Bont, Bro Morganwig, on Wednesday. That's a very short time. Not even 3 days. Couldn't last 3 days before. Oh, just one thing. Yeah. After the picture was published, Edwards' party leader Nigel Farage stood by him. I bet he did. Won't be surprised if he was stood next to him in the picture doing the same thing, and that they've just cropped Edwards. He said the image looks terrible, and he wouldn't approve of it, but he said he would not be kicked out of the party. So he's still going to be in the party. But at the moment, he's not their candidate in Wales. He cited issues with his mental health, which, judging by that fucking picture, yeah, you can certainly say he's got problems with his mind. Yada yada yada. From Farage, won't read the rest of the quote. A statement from Edwards appeared to suggest he had been imitating the sitcom character Basil Fawlty, as well as former Welsh international goalkeeper Wayne Hennessy, who was involved in a row over an alleged Nazi salute in 2019, which he denied at the time. What, is he famous for his impressions, is he? Don't know. Well, an impression of an impression. Of course, the Germans episode of Fawlty Towers, he's referring to They Don't Mention the War, and then he does the walk, where he integrates the goose step into one of the Monty Python funny walks, which was one of his sort of trademark bits. Anyway, I don't think that that's where he was going, you know. Look how smugly pleased he looks with himself in this picture. It's pretty grainy, you know. Could even be from... How old's this guy? Say how old he is. Picture's taken 2019, actually. I was going to say it looked like just the quality of it. 90s, 2000s, or it could just be poor resolution and whatever. So that's only 7 years ago. What a bastard, what a dickhead. Well, that's good news. Another Reform candidate done away with. Don't have a graphic to illustrate this result, but just speaking of council seats, there was another great win for the Greens as well this week. 2 new Green councillors were elected in a seat in Cornwall. In what was it? It was in Penryn. So congratulations again. And the latest poll on the Senedd was that it does look like a victory for Welsh independence, or an overall majority, that is. It's looming with Reform in second. Labour, again, being nowhere in sight at keeping Reform out, as they repeatedly try and remind us that they're the only party who can. That didn't happen in Gorton and Denton. It's not happening in Wales. It didn't happen in Penryn this week. I don't think the ratio of, you know, Labour 1, Reform 2nd to other parties is going to be that massive. Right. Just one more quick article to skim through and then we'll get onto some clips. I don't like to do too many articles. It sort of feels like crappy chalk and talk, whatever. Exercise books, page 37. We're going to discuss the fundamental differences between Marxism and Leninism. Right. Actually, Lefty, that's on page 35, not page 37. Right. Next and final article for now. More phone business in UK news. Morgan McSweeney apparently he's lost his mobile phone, you see. It's the problem, it can't be an investigation. Oh, you know, he'd done gone lost his phone after sending Peter Mandelson, allegedly, you know, essentially very revealing conversations between the two of them. Starmer thinks that there's a bit of a conspiracy theory going on because how are we to know that in the future there might be an investigation? As if, well, we didn't know that we were breaking rules at the time, or that we were admitting that we knew about Peter Mandelson's full relationship with Jeffrey Epstein before we appointed him as US ambassador. No, we didn't know that, we didn't do that. And it was legitimately stolen. But now the police might be trying to get hold of Mandelson's phone. You see, and Streeting's had similar problems as well. He's that 1 minute he's telling people what a close friend of Mandelson he was and sharing WhatsApp messages of support. The next moment, barely knew the guy, and all these messages seem to have vanished. Ones in which Streeting admitted that the UK was complicit in war crimes in Gaza. What a time to be alive. So let's just quickly see what's happening with this one. Just load this one up. It's gone a little quiet, Philip. He's back in the headlines for the wrong reasons. That was good. Not seeing him smiling in any smirking, that serpentine, I should say, grin that he has. Is it going to transpire that he's conveniently lost his phone as well? So the Cabinet Office is preparing to publish thousands of files after Mandelson was sacked from his US ambassador role. This includes messages between Mandelson and Labour ministers and advisors, but has so far only had access to the peer's work phone. Can you imagine, you know, some poor people have to go through all of this stuff. And where the Epstein files are concerned as well, even just the few bits that we've been drip fed so far are really, really sickening, enough to make you retch. Can you imagine these kind of conversations? Where that's concerned as well, I saw some footage this week of a congressman really going at Trump in one of the sessions where he described one of the statements made by one of Trump's accusers, who was 13 years old at the time. She said that these acts took place, and what was described I won't relay to you here on the stream. But yeah, just beyond the pale. One of those where, you know, you get the gist, and then that's enough. That's all you can take, because it's absolutely revolting what's been going on with this whole thing, and Mandelson has now found himself plumb square in the centre of it. So you can bet right now he's sitting around trying to wipe his phone as quickly as possible. Or there might be... Come on. This pathetic excuse for a human being that you can see on your screen. Try to garner sympathy after his arrest with a sort of really freakish piece in the Tory graph, wasn't it? In the old Telegraph. And yeah, I'm just an ordinary guy in his multi-million-pound house with a dog in the kitchen, you know. As though nothing would happen. He thinks that his own assessment of himself will not only convince others, but carry him through this. And I think he genuinely believes that as well. He is that sort of, like, twisted individual. And where this is concerned, yeah, you certainly wouldn't put it past him to come out with any old crap to try and avoid these messages being revealed, or some of the excuses that we're going to hear, you know, ridiculous, made-up circumstances that he's going to try and dig himself out of this hole with, but it's not going to wash. It just won't. He's out, you know, it's not a case of the spaghetti isn't sticking anymore. He's just straight up out of fucking spaghetti. He's got nothing. He's got nothing. And good fucking riddance. I hate this. I really fucking hate this man. So yeah, the Met can go at him as far as I'm concerned. This guy shouldn't just be... shouldn't just have his reputation trashed. You know, they need to arrest this guy. Second-hand bed salesman. Yeah, Ordinal Father. That's a good description of Mandy there. Nice to see you on chat as well. If America makes a law that it's okay to be like Epstein, people would do it. What? Yeah. I see where you're going with that. Graham approves as well. Nice to see you, Graham. Flow Snake, if you're watching back later on after you've gone off to bed, thanks a lot for joining us. Thanks for throwing up the watermelons in the chat as well. And Von Nackeriser's joining us on stream. Nice to see you, Von Nackeriser. Long time no see, my friend. Always a pleasure. And Andrew McCallum there as well. Did Mandelson play the part of the child catcher in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang? No. Oh God. Who was it? Was it Alec Guinness? Was it someone else? Am I getting mixed up there? No, it was someone else, I think. I can't remember who it was. I can't really say I've seen Chitty Chitty Bang Bang a lot. But I'm familiar with the character, the concept of the character. If he was old enough, Mandelson that is, you might even argue that that character was based on him, or maybe he was influenced. As well as Epstein. Pretty dark humour there, coming into the chats. Quality streaming. On the Brews at 10, make sure you hit thumbs up if you're joining us on stream, people. Let's move on with a few clips now. That's a lot of the UK stuff done now, as well as updates on recent stories. Let's get into some developing business. Some news stories. And then on to Middle East affairs, Middle East matters. Oh God, oh God. Oh. Sorry, I had a partridge moment in my brain. It was Middle East matters. It was Good Morning Matters with Partridge, wasn't it? That's probably why. Was Benny Hill in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang? Was he? Honestly... not seen it a lot of times, even as a child, but... oh, well, there you go. I forgot what I was saying now. I was on a separate rant about Alan Partridge. Okay, now back to main business. Yeah, more on Iran, Palestine, and of course Lebanon now, of course, being attacked by Israel once again. But first up, where all the protest surrounding this is concerned. Like I mentioned towards the top of the stream, it does appear that the Met Police will now be going back on their statement not to arrest people for holding up placards in support of PAL action. So, Dr. Rameh was arrested just a couple of days ago. But the good news is today she's been released, and there was an excellent welcoming party there for her outside Westminster Magistrates Court, where she made an appearance today. She wasn't granted bail, which is why she's gone. She was held in jail and then has gone straight to court. She gave a bit of a speech and a statement when she's outside, of course. I know that a lot of you will have heard about this case already. And yeah, these jumped up, trumped up terrorism charges that are coming along with Palestine action. Not just members of the organisation, but also supporters of course, in Defend Our Juries, probably most famously. Just goes to show the authoritarian times which the UK is increasingly sinking into. But this is good news. She's certainly undeterred now that she's been released. And, yeah, great welcoming party, you can see and hear. And yeah, familiar face there. Holding the banner up, friend of the channel, Sean, if you're watching. Shout out to Sean, Irish at the back there, a good friend of mine from Just Up Oil, so on. Excellent guy as well. Solidari-Tea, brother. No, I mean, not everybody who's released from court gets an ovation and a band playing and a song comes to a conclusion before they make the statement. That just goes to show the excellent amount of support and love and solidarity here. Here's the speech itself. Boo! Boo, Wesley, boo! Oh, great news, and yeah, Graham, thank you very much for the Palestine flags in chat as well. It's just always excellent to see shows of support like that. Because when apart from speaking to maybe your solicitor every now and then, you don't really always know of the situation outside, and to come out of court and see that amount of love and support must have just been amazing as well. So yeah, solidarity. Go on, yourself. Yeah, it's a disgrace, but it's not going to put anybody off. I don't think anybody in Pal Action, nobody in Defend Our Juries, and that includes myself, I have to say. I know that other viewers as well are also supporters of Defend Our Juries. Next clip is a snippet from Piers Morgan Uncensored. Lebanon was the topic of this debate. Southern Lebanon, of course, recently being attacked by Israel again, yet again. It's not going well for Israel. More attacks, obviously, coming in retaliation in northern Israel as well, but a huge amount of people have been displaced. The mainstream media certainly only make a passing mention of this, if anything, and they would refer to it as a ground operation, of course, not illegal invasion, Israel's latest illegal invasion, as it should rightly be reported now. Their ground offensive now has killed 1,000 people. You'd think would be a lot more newsworthy than it has. And where Piers Morgan's concerned, Piers Morgan's always gonna Piers Morgan, of course. If you're from any country in the world, Piers Morgan knows more about your country than you do. Certainly if you're from any country in the Middle East. And this time he tried to do it again. He's trying to tell Lebanese citizen Rania Kalek what the truth is about the situation in Lebanon, and she's just not having it, and puts him in his place particularly well in this little clip. So you'll enjoy this one. It's more of a popcorn clip. We've seen Professor Mohammed Morandi, of course, sticking it to Piers Morgan a lot recently, as well as other mainstream broadcasters. He's been getting a lot. It's almost, almost masochistic of him at this point to keep inviting on guests that absolutely nail him into the ground on his own show. So let's see this one. This is Rania Kalek.
Lebanon as a Lebanese person under the situation I'm in, to condemn resistance to a brutal supremacist settler colony is like asking an Austrian Jew in the 1940s to condemn resistance to Nazi Germany because atrocities. That's all I'm hearing from you, because my entire life, my family has been subjected to constant aggression and war crimes by Israel, because since its existence and founding in this region as a settler colony, a Jewish settler colony implanted in this region, and in a region that's not majority Jewish, so it has to commit constant ethnic cleansing and demographic engineering to exist as a ethno-state, not a normal country, a settler colony ethno-state. Just constant aggression and torture and rape and land theft against my people. They've currently displaced over 1 million in Lebanon, and they're saying they can't return. You have Israeli Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich saying...
Oh, yes, that's another thing that the mainstream media, of course, have completely overlooked. This new, well, it's not new, of course, it's part of the so-called Greater Israel Project, but further annexation, further land theft. That's all it is, plain and simple. There's no, it's a complex situation, the things that they try and pull out of the bag when you're debating on Gaza. It's as clear as day. All you need to have is, not even a pair of eyes, just one eye. And my left eye, certainly, I've got 2 eyes, by the way, but don't wear an eye patch or anything. But the point is, it's as obvious to anybody that when you see 2 neighbouring countries, and one of them starts to have more land, and that land encroaches past the line, the boundary that you can see clearly on the map, it's annexation. And you don't really need an IQ in geography, politics, or anything, sociology, to know that and to be able to observe that. And I'm struggling to think of the exact terminology that the mainstream media are trying to use for this at the moment, but it's equally as pathetic as the ground offensive. Something projects, like housing projects or something like this. Literally, this is what all the big channels have been saying. This is the syntax that's on the table at the moment. But it's straight up murder and theft. There's no 2 ways about it.
They're going to annex southern Lebanon, depopulate it of Lebanese, and replace it with Jewish settlers, just like they've done in the West Bank.
Preach, sister, preach. That's only a short clip there, but she's speaking the truth. And apologies if you're watching back later on and that clip wasn't there. Sometimes, or should we say, it gets noticed by peers. Let's see. Rania Kalek there. Someone else who's been pretty hot on the social media this week, I've seen quite a few clips flying about the place, is Abby Martin. A staunch critic of Israel. I'm sure that the name's familiar to a lot of you already. So I've picked out just one of these from this week, moving on to Israel's occupation of Gaza, more specifically. And again, good bit of preaching here.
I remember I had a debate with an Israeli spokesperson who said, "You're wrong about Israel. Come visit Israel." And
just quickly want to interject as well. This will, excuse me. In the clip, Abby Martin's going to get quite descriptive as to some of the things that she's observed in her time in Israel and in Gaza, just for anybody of a particularly sensitive disposition. That's a pre-warning. So you have been warned, fair and square.
We'll show you the truth. And so I said,
It's
okay,
truly
I'll see
horrific.
the truth for myself. I went in 2016 and wow, it was a transformative, life-changing trip. Everything that I thought I knew was actually much worse than I had even thought. I spent 4 weeks traveling all across the West Bank, small villages, refugee camps. I stayed in the Balata refugee camp, Aida refugee camp. I remember going to Hebron, which was the most visceral example of Israeli apartheid I'd ever seen. And then, of course, going into the borders of 48 was just the absolute dichotomous opposite. I mean, you know, spending several weeks with Palestinians, hearing their hearts poured open. I mean, the most beautiful, welcoming, gracious people I've ever met in my life. And no one ever said anything remotely racist. No one said anything remotely anti-Semitic.
Okay.
And it was just the opposite of the narrative that we've been told our whole lives. Now going into the borders of 48, the racism and bigotry was visceral. It was palpable to the point where I couldn't even bear to be there for more than a couple hours. I mean, I didn't even want to spend money there because I was so disgusted.
Okay.
There's a reason why Americans are not shown what Israeli society thinks and believes on camera.
Okay.
We're only shown a very sanitized version of what Israeli society thinks and believes because they handpick spokespeople with American accents to speak to Americans. And, you know, I went around Jerusalem for a few hours and interviewed Israelis, and the results were quite shocking. I mean, the first day that I was there, I mean, literally within 20 minutes of leaving the airport, I remember seeing a row of people walking up a huge hill with their cars behind concrete barricades. And I said, what is going on here? And my friend Nancy Mansour said, oh, this is what they do to just inconvenience Palestinians routinely. They'll just blockade, set up makeshift checkpoints, and make them walk 3 hours outside of where their direct route is to get home. And right out of the gate, I just said, oh my God. A couple minutes later, we saw an ambulance at a checkpoint where they were pulling out a person who was probably bleeding out. I mean, someone who needed immediate medical assistance, and they were checking the ambulance. I mean, we know what they do. We know that they deny Palestinians medical care. So that's what I saw within the first couple hours of being there. A couple hours later, we heard that a farmer was shot in the back for not turning around quickly enough when an Israeli soldier called his name. We went to the funeral the next day.
You know, I ask, can you believe that? Of course we can believe that from the IDF and Israel now. There's even worse. There's a case that's been brought up this week as well, which I'll go into after this clip, that's particularly horrendous as well.
And, you know, we spent time with the family. As we were leaving the funeral, Israeli soldiers had set up another makeshift barricade right outside of the house and started tear gassing and shooting rubber bullets at the funeral goers. And I just could not believe what I was witnessing firsthand.
Shameless.
I mean, the stories are endless of just being there a few weeks. Going through Kalandia checkpoint, there was an elderly man with arms raised walking toward the security gate. And they...
Now, I don't care which faith you might choose to follow or not follow. I'm more or less certain that wholesale any current existing faith, deity-based faith at least, if you want to narrow it down, or you could even narrow it down to the 3 Abrahamic religions, if you wish. But there is no excuse for, or certainly no encouragement of, the attacking of funerals as acceptable moral behaviour or encouraged behaviour. And even if you're not, of course. Now, I don't know why it just randomly sprung into my head from another headline that was around this week. You might remember last week, famous UK double murderer Ian Huntley was murdered in prison, or he was injured and then died from his injuries a couple of days later in prison. His funeral happened without anybody in attendance, no family members, no friends to mourn. But my point is that the funeral was still allowed to take place. Nobody burst into the place and started to fire rubber bullets. Funerals are more or less wholesale accepted as a thing for anybody. Ritual burials and differing traditions and methods thereof spring out within different religions, of course. But there is nowhere except within Zionism, of course, which isn't a religion. It's a phony appropriation of a religion, the religion of Judaism, which is a peaceful religion and certainly would not condone these actions or any type of behaviour at a funeral. And along with a lot of other cases, a lot of other examples that we hear about the actions of Zionist Israel and the IDF, I often, purely from a humanitarian, empathetic / sympathetic point of view, ask myself why there isn't a moment in time where these people ask themselves just what the hell they're doing. They don't turn around to themselves and say, you're at a funeral, or this is a child, or these people are defenceless. Now, a lot of former IDF soldiers are currently undergoing depression, huge bouts of PTSD, etc. Some of them are now feeling guilt for their actions, but not all of them do. In fact, a lot of them get worse through time until you essentially end up as, Ben-Gvir, these sort of Ben-Gvir, who's even more extreme than Benjamin Netanyahu himself. There are those, but along the way, during the action itself, the fact that they don't question what they're doing or say, what am I doing now? What am I about to do? Some of them say, oh God, what have I done? Significantly after the fact, which doesn't make a lick of difference. It certainly doesn't garner any sympathy from yours truly. It'd be very difficult for me to put my arm around a former IDF soldier. Oh, they're there. You didn't know. It's just a basis of empathy and sympathy and acceptable human behaviour, isn't it? But we could be here all day and all night debating that. But what in the hell, at funerals, and then she goes on further.
Just open fire. Open fire.
For
bullets
nothing.
were for nothing.
Okay.
For nothing. Bullets were flying everywhere. We were ducking in the car. And, as we know, they have complete and total impunity. They will kill anyone and retroactively justify it. And so at that point, I just realized if they killed everyone in this car, it wouldn't matter. My government would do nothing to fight for my life or accountability for my life, as well as the poor Palestinian man that they were opening fire on.
And she's right. That would have to be a shocking realisation if you were there. We've heard so many cases of civilian reporters, charity workers, aid workers, members of UNRWA and other United Nations organisation, not just being killed, but being targeted as well, because they do target Zionists, and the IDF target anybody who isn't them, essentially. They think they've got a free license to just target anybody. But should Abby Martin here find herself added to that list of casualties, then you wouldn't see Donald Trump on camera in, bouts of tears, genuine tears. If it was a UK citizen, you wouldn't see it from Keir Starmer. They've got the paymasters to appease. And yeah, as Holy as DFG says in the chat, obeying United States military orders as well. Absolutely. Comrie, nice to see you in chat. Oh yeah, make no bones about it. Certainly don't have any sympathy at all for any IDF soldiers. I was just pointing out that some of them do actually get psychologically affected after the fact, and some of them don't. They remain maniacal throughout their entire years, and you can draw similar comparisons to 1930s Germany, just following orders. I certainly don't buy that. Absolutely not. In fact, at the last Defend Our Juries, or one of the recent Defend Our Juries protests that I attended with a friend of the channel and host on Climate Lens, my friend Paul, was wearing a t-shirt with "just following orders is a shit excuse." I've got a good picture of him actually stood in front of a whole lot of police officers with that one on. Yeah, but just wholesale. No sympathy at all. It's inexcusable, unforgivable. Even if they genuinely or pretend to feel sorry after the facts, all I'm concerned with is the actual act itself. Yeah, some things are just unforgivable. Plants McGee, nice to see you in chat. I can't see any link. If you posted a link, only myself or other admins would be able to post links. Let us know if there's something to check out relative to stuff that we've been talking about on the stream. Yeah, then let us know. But you'd have to be a mod or an admin on My Left Eye to be able to post links in chat. That's the way it works. It's out of our hands, unfortunately. The same way handles instead of usernames appearing in the chat is out of our hands. My Left Eye sees a lot but can't control everything. That's just the way of it. Now, did anybody in chats, or if you're watching back later on, let us know in the comments, but were you at the Resistance is Existence conference this week? I've got a little clip here, a whole bunch of names I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with. You're going to hear Jeremy Corbyn speaking in this clip, joined on stage by Zach Polanski. I'm sure the sight of those two sat together on stage is making the gammons piss boil away. But Yanis Varoufakis was also on stage, as well as a host of other excellent speakers. The whole thing was over 2 hours long. I think they have now released the full video. If you go onto Jeremy Corbyn's social media, I think he's shared the full video, but we're going to see a clip from Corbyn on Gaza. Of course, he and Polanski have similar views on Gaza, but yeah, seeing them together on stage I think is pretty monumental, and certainly encouraging as well, when we know that the Greens and your party, as well as other grassroots parties and independents working together, that's what we're going to need coming up to the next general election. And I should say as well, at the moment, I think the Green Party certainly have to be considered mainstream, the new mainstream. Drop my pen. And we're going to look at some polls that are going to pertain to that after this as well. But with your party, again, being very new and having gone through all of its formal processes only a short time ago, it still has to be considered a grassroots party, I think, if we're all being perfectly honest with ourselves. And that's just in terms of impact in polls. I know that the membership's growing in the tens of thousands, and the Greens have passed, what, 250,000, if you include Green Party of England and Wales and Scottish Greens, which is over 10,000 as well. So combined in the UK, that's pretty good going. And yeah, they've got to be bigger than Labour. The Green Party are bigger than Labour. Ooh. If you'd have told people that 6 years ago, really, would you really have believed it, you think? Well, let's hear from Corbyn.
Britain has knowingly and deliberately involved itself in wholly illegal in any terms bombardment of Gaza, and the responsibility for the deaths of 71,000 people in Gaza, the mental health crisis that will be in Gaza for the next century and beyond because of what's happened, and the Nakba, the second Nakba that's coming as the Israeli forces will try to drive them out. And the British government knew all this all along. They refused to accept the argument that they were complicit in genocide. So the conclusion we come from is this. If the ICJ, International Court of Justice, has decided that acts of genocide are taking place, and this country knowingly occasioned and supplied weapons to Israel, knowing what they're going to be used for, that makes the British government complicit in genocide. And so when we produce this report...
It does, and it shames us all. It shames us all. Of all of the things to be ashamed about in this country at the moment, this is one of the most. This, as well as our inability to properly tackle climate change and the myriad of social economic issues that we have at the moment. This is right on the top of the pile, really. It shames every single UK citizen, whether you support it or not, really. We are complicit. And again, there's no two bones about it. Starmer's in denial, Lammy's in denial, Shabana Mahmood's in denial. They're all in denial. It's not just a river in Egypt, you know.
When we produced this report, the next day, I wrote 2 letters, one to the International Court of Justice and the other to the International Criminal Court, inviting them to interview Keir Starmer, Yvette Cooper and David Lammy on charges of genocide against the Palestinian people.
Yes. Yes. I think that certainly has to be more like it, doesn't it? Because these MPs who get caught up in what sort of other scandals, should we say more minor corruption and this sort of thing, they receive more punishment than people doing far more severe. And I mean, we're talking about international war crimes, and it's completely not paradoxical, ironic, maybe, but it seems that the bigger the crime, the less punishment. And like the same goes within capitalism, you know, stock market fraud, these sort of things. The people who caused the crash of 2008, doing so without reprimand. And the more people your crimes seem to affect, especially if you're a politician, of course, or a head of state, then it seems the more you get away with. Which is counterintuitive, is the word I was struggling to look for a moment ago, but that certainly is what it is. And yeah, charge them. The buck stops with Keir Starmer, but obviously other people make these decisions. He's reshuffled the deck chairs on the Titanic a few times, of course, since the latest escalation after Hamas's counter-offensive in late 2023. But every single person throughout that process needs to be charged if they are found to have made decisions or approved things that led to provision of weapons, intelligence, this sort of thing. And we know how many spy runs that were happening out from the air bases in Cyprus, Akitiri. Daily runs across Gaza. That all has to count. We just have to keep fighting together, internationally. And if justice is served, then these people will have their day in courts. It would be a very lengthy process, but they would have their time in the dock in The Hague. Yeah, hopefully it's got substance to it and it's not just words. But speaking of resistance, etc., protest, I've got a couple of plugs and things to bring to your attention. First of all, with an smooth as silk segue, both Jeremy Corbyn and Zach Polansky will be attending tomorrow's expected to be huge march throughout London against the far right. This is the March Together March, which is tomorrow for anybody who's down in the capital. We're unable to get down there, unfortunately, because of other Take Back Power business here in the north over the weekend. But you can see some of the other organisations that will be there as well. Greenpeace, Choose Love, Amnesty, International Peace and Justice Project, Stand Up to Racism. Take Back Power will be there with our other contingents. Of course, we're just unable to be there ourselves personally. It's going to be pretty massive, so yeah, we're going to be part of the climate block. There's going to be a climate block on the march. Get down there if you can and show your support against the far right. Yeah, pretty gutted actually. This has been hyped up for a while, and yeah, I do actually know a couple of people involved in the wider organisation as well. I know the amount of effort that goes into these kind of collaborative efforts, but fret you not, people. My Left Eye is going to be down in London within a matter of weeks, actually, just a couple of weeks away, before we're covering the DOJ protest. If you do attend, yeah, we'd love to hear about your experiences as well on streams next week. So one of the reasons we got such a busy schedule this weekend, unable to get down to London, one of the things that's going on this Sunday evening here in Manchester with Take Back Power is this excellent fundraising gig, the Amplify the Power event. So just throwing a plug out there. Obviously I'm biased, being a supporter of the organisation, myself. But it's at the infamous Star and Garter, very short distance away from Piccadilly Station itself, not too much further away from Piccadilly Gardens. Great transport links to Manchester if you want to get down there. This Sunday evening, doors are at 7 p.m. You've got 4 fantastic acts there, starting at 7:30 with Phantasm, then Zonga, who are going to be followed by the Banana Undertones, and finally headlining 9:45, you've got Weymouth. So get yourselves down, people. It's going to be a great night. You might even bump into a few familiar faces as well. Or maybe not familiar faces, if you know what I mean. Yeah, there is going to be a lot going on this weekend. Well, that means that we're going to have plenty to talk about and share with you on streams next week as well. But I did say we'd take a look at a couple of polls. I think I've got, might as well have a look at this trio. I've got actually a trio of polls. It's a poll. The first one's just a reminder, because I've mentioned this a couple of times on the stream and throughout the stream. Throughout streams this week, I should say. Yeah, this is YouGov as well, so nothing hyperbolic as polls go. I always take them with a pinch of salt, but YouGov having one of the better reputations, putting the Green Party within just 4 percentage points of reform, and outpacing reform, gaining 16.1% to their 12.3 as well. Just a reminder of Labour's absolute tanking, dropping 18.7% to 16%, putting them behind the Tories, who reduce by only 7.4%, but still enough to put Labour into 4th. However, again sticking with the next general election, projected 2029 general election. This is where the votes are projected to go in the capital. Look at this. Look at that. Look at that. Wow. That's a beauty. %, ahead of Labour, with a 26.5% gain. Labour down 20%. Wow. That's unprecedented. That is historical. It's undeniable. Whomever you support, purely from an observatory stance, as a political observer or sociologist, that's undeniably monumental and unprecedented. And certainly impressive, if you want my personal opinion on that. And I'd like to see that following other major cities as well, of course, including the second city of England, which is, of course, Manchester, of course. But yes, Birmingham, Liverpool, Leeds, get with it, get on it. Yeah, England's got to go green. Scotland and Wales have to have their independent ways. What say you? What say you, people? And this is why things like this are happening. This is the latest batch of data on voting trends since the last election. And it's very clear. Let's start at the top and work our way down. Even though Reform is still topping a lot of the national polls, as you saw, they appear to have peaked. And now, amongst others, you can see at the bottom there is perhaps included this refresh, renew, recycle, reduce, reuse, whatever they're called. No, Rupert Law's Restore Party have been nibbling away at Reform's votes, so they've been on a downward trend since approximately sort of February-ish. And I can only see that continuing. Labour, of course, continuing to tank there. The downturn getting even sharper. Starting to level off a bit, even going up slightly at one point after the new year. But now, and it's clear to see why. Taking a major downturn with record losses. The lowest personal approval rate for any Prime Minister in post-war history. And there you have it. Similar story for the Tories, who are down, but the Greens up and up and up every couple of weeks when a new poll comes out. Greens +2, +2, +2. In fact, they're 8% up from where they were at the general election. Which is really impressive. And that doesn't look like levelling off anytime soon. So, if you can imagine, obviously this only goes up to this month, but if those trends continue, where the line of Reform and the Greens would intersect, I would estimate to be somewhere around underneath the U of UK in Reform UK's name, if you can sort of picture that there. Sorry, you won't be able to see my cursor on screen. And that wouldn't be too far off. That would certainly, by summer, perhaps late summer, if these trends continue. Yeah, Lib Dems down slightly according to this, but we have seen other polls where it's put them up a little. Not sure which parties are and aren't included. With other, of course, I speculated that Restore might be, possibly your party as well. Other left-wing grassroots parties as well. You'd have to assume that's why. They're mostly on the rise, but not at quite the same level that the Green Party is. So that's the latest trending. Yeah, Comrie, personally speaking, I'm happy to just let Rupert Lowe carry on enticing people away from Reform. That's fine by me, because I don't think that's going to grow into anything substantial the same way that Reform have. Wouldn't see an almost mass exodus, you know, just across to a different shade of turquoise or teal. So yeah, let them split the right votes. They can do that all day long. If you'll excuse me for quoting Napoleon Bonaparte, but never interrupt your enemy when they're making a mistake. And we have mentioned that in previous content on the video as well. Because it just sort of came out of nowhere, really. I can't remember which channel it was, but they were doing Vox Pops. So it might have even been in Clacton itself. I'm not certain, but they were asking why people were not happy with the government. Some people wanted to vote for reform. I think the final question in the string of questions was who they think should be the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, and whichever area it was in, they just kept coming out with this name, Rupert Lowe, and it was like, fucking what? Who? Former MEP? No, yeah, blah, da, da, da. Upper middle, oh, surprise, yes, he's an upper middle class rich person, of course. Does his videos from the farm, you know. Don't know about you people, but when I'm done on the stream, I might go into the kitchen or maybe into my my barn on my farm, and then, you know, just as you do. Rupert Lowe on the farm here. You know, how's your farm? We've all got farms, don't we? We've all got farms to run. I'm just trying to put a farm on the table for my family. But no, a bit detached from reality. Yeah, so this name just kept coming up. He sort of was shunned by reform. Said, well, I'll form my own party then, you fuckers, and it's going to be very derivative. And there you go, they're eating away into 5% of reform vote, 7, 10, even more. And you can keep going to a certain extent, but yeah. He's a positive splitter. That's the way I see it. Specs Bean Farmer. Nice to see you. Solidari-Tea. Where are we up to? Okay, another comedy clip is next. This is Debutantes, like I said at the top of the stream. It's a really good sketch, this, from, and a really interesting name as well. If you want to check out more from them, the clip is from TikTok. I'm not sure if they're a YouTuber as well. But Veronica and the Baby Boo is the name of the act. And I do love stuff like this, kind of, you know, low budget costume sort of stuff. It's because it's all about the jokes, really. It's all about the content. And this is a great one from Veronica and the Baby Boo. Just before we go into the clip though, shout out to MIDI Doctors for 5 gifted memberships. Just a moment before I hit the button there. Thank you very much. Let's big up MIDI Doctors in the chat, please, everybody. So those 5 very generous gifted memberships take us up to 206. Just change the goal. Thank you very much. I hope you all enjoy your perks. Comrie, I'm sure that you'll be delighted that Welsh Boy Yeah Boy has been one of the recipients of the gifted memberships, hasn't it? Don't bitch about the improvised accents, please. Specs Bean Farmer with another 5. Awesome. Oh, Solidari-Tea. How's about that, people? 211. That takes us up to. Please do big up Specs Bean Farmer in the chat as well. Oh, we're getting close, people. We are getting close. Just 39 away. Oh, Comrie, thank you. I'm glad that you you approve. Sorry, I do sometimes do improvised accents. But yeah, it's a Welsh takeover at the moment in chat. Of course, feel free, Solidarity with the Welsh, and also Solidarity with Divinia for throwing in 5, and Conry, we got another 10. Oh, incredible. What a great way, what a hype train we've got going on, people. What a great way to show support and solidarity. So where are we? 226? I'm just double checking my reckoning. Yep, 5 and a 10, 15, 226. What an amazing audience we have on the channel. And let's celebrate together, actually, with laughter and joy and merriment. And yeah, Veronica and the baby boo. Very good, this. I'm going to try and dig out some more. I'm not sure if they're new or not. This is about Trump and Iran, the so-called negotiations that have definitely been happening. You can take Trump's word on it, wink wink. And they got him a gift as well, you know.
What are you doing? I was playing soldier. It's my understanding you wish to speak. For you to open the strait. It's open. Nothing blocking it. Right, but it's scary. It's scary. Okay, well, you have 48 hours. You have 48 hours. 48 hours to do what? To open it. Well, as I said, it's open. So, I was thinking, maybe we could run it together. The strait, we could run it together. But I already run it. But like you and me could run it together. But I already run it. I ran and continue to run it. Yeah, but I could help. No, thank you. Well, then you have 5 days. That many. To open it. 2 minutes ago, I only had 48 hours. I was being magnanimous. 5 days. Isn't that when your soldiers arrive on that ship? Maybe, yeah. Well, if that's it, I guess I'll be going. Perhaps you should stop playing soldier and find a different game to play.
Yeah. Veronica and the baby boo there. That was excellent. That was excellent. That's new to me. A debut on the Brews at 10 at least. Go and check them out. If you're a TikToker, yeah, like I said, I'm not sure if they've got a YouTube, but I will make inquiries. I think the Space Cowboy 420 like that one. Which bang on spot. That is it. That is the situation. Oh, we're dead serious. You got 48 hours, and to show you we're serious, you've got 5 days. No, it's 10 days, isn't it? Even since that sketch was made, it's been doubled again. And what's it going to go into? Weeks, months? To show you we're really serious, you have even more time to do the thing that we've not asked you to do. And the bit at the end where, you know, with the crown, having the crown on and... very good indeed. And real genuine stuff, not AI slop. Yeah, it's taco time again, isn't it? Absolutely. Trump always chickens out. Yeah. Continued Welsh takeover. My Welsh eye. That's fine by me. Solidari-Tea. Speaking of Solidarity, fellow comrades.
Socialists. Oh my God.
Time for a shout out to all the members on the channel. We'll update the gifted memberships, of course, before the next stream. Thanks again for all of your contributions.
Jurassic Park.
These are the 201 though that we started off the stream with. Final few plugs to get in. Super chat's still open if you're watching live, as well as super stickers, which are tons of fun, by the way. Super thanks is open if you're watching back later on. There's a buy me a coffee page in the description of any content on the channel if you're looking for the link. Please do consider using that to help support us. And hype points, if you're watching on a mobile or tablet, are a great way to help us out on the algorithm as well. A pretty new feature, not available in every region, but please do check out some content on your mobile devices and see if it's there. As best as we can. Apologies if we don't immediately respond. Thank you very much, everybody, whoever you've supported us over the couple of years that we've been around. But alas, I will be calling a halt to proceedings for this eve. Stay right where you are though, people. I'm setting up a raid as we speak, some more socialist political commentary to come. We'll see who's around as we just about come up to midnight. I'll have to do it very quickly before I turn into a pumpkin. Well, it's only offering me Al Jazeera at the moment. If anybody has any very, very hasty recommendations in chat before I close this down, feel free to post in chat. I'll set it up for Al Jazeera for now, though. You can always edit that as we have some post-ending shenanigans, as always. Final reminder that there will be no Sunday live stream, unfortunately. Like I said, we'll be at the incredible Amplify the Power fundraising gig at the Star and Garter in Manchester. So we'll be seeing you on More Brews at 10 next week. Really hope you have an excellent weekend though, everybody. Have yourselves a very good night. Don't let the bastards grind you down. Yeah, free Palestine, Sudan, Lebanon and Yemen. Don't watch the news, be the news. My Lefty, I'll be seeing you soon. Ta-ra for now.
The door is open and you can leave.
It's what Hitler and Goering did, and it is textbook. And if you think the next time it happens, we're gonna recognize it because they're wearing scary uniforms, you're out of your damn mind.